You know how I do.
Let's get cracking!
Welcome back, everybody, to our last game of the night. The last series of the night, rather, is going to be Navi US versus Not Today. So once again, we're going to have the Americans versus the Peruvians to once and all determine who's better at Dota. Dota 2 Champions League American Division, we have a two-game series ahead of us, the last two-game series of the night. And we'll jump right into the draft. So I can welcome in my co-caster, Nahaz, is going to be joining me. And real quick, I just want to get this out. The stand-in here of Navi US, Mr. Pink Panda, is also known as Way Too Sexy, or as his Twitter is now known as Way Too Peter. Maybe he doesn't like the Way Too Sexy name anymore and wants to change that. I'm not sure if Way Too Peter is an improvement or not, but...
I can't say I'm on board with that, but I'm gonna have a hard time breaking down this draft. I'll be honest, because half my brain is thinking about hero picks, and the other half my brain is saying to Fog, "Please pick Magnus. Please pick Magnus. Please pick Magnus." We are definitely hoping for that Arise Magnus, but are going to talk about the heroes that they have drafted because fairly standard draft, I think, coming out of both sides. Teams have shown a lot of variance recently in the value that they place on Nature's Prophet, but I think he's definitely worthy of a first four pick for sure. And Ewo actually farms very, very well on the Viper. He's won 3 straight games on that hero. Had a very nice game the other night against Shadows of the Past, where he was over 600 gold per minute. And certainly the Centaur still quite viable. I've seen, I think it's Mihawk that I've seen play this hero fairly well. And Smash's Brewmaster, by the way, has not been banned out yet. And you know what? If you guys want to see me nerdgasm, give me a Smash Brewmaster versus an Arise Magnus, because that would be freaking epic. I know you don't want to see it.
I don't want to see your Venator strokes, Nahaz.
Oh my gosh. Oh
no.
my gosh.
No. Don't.
Navi US.
Everybody may be able to see your nerdgasm face soon if all goes well. Our emoticons.
There you go. You're gonna have the Nahaz emote, but not. And by the way, I like the Shadow Shaman and Earthshaker bands there a lot coming out from Not Today. Way Too. I've expressed my esteem for his Shadow Shaman play in the past, but he can just wreck you with that hero. And of course, Earthshaker, just a great roaming support, and Cap's favorite hero. So screw you, man. The Invoker ban a little bit more unusual, although lot of respect for Smash's Invoker for sure. But I would, playing against Smash, I would ban that Brewmaster ahead of the Invoker anytime.
Fair enough. I personally would prefer to see his Invoker, but that's just me. I'm fine with Invoker, a more entertaining hero to watch anyway. Pugna was also banned away by Navi US, taking away some potential early push. Not today. I can't actually think of the last time that I casted them, but I don't really recall them going in for too heavy push strats.
No, their drafts tend to be pretty standard. Really, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is a good team, but it is a team that rises and falls with Smash. Basically, they are going to draft a lineup that is going to function around whatever hero they choose for him. And if he has a good game, they're very, very hard to beat. If he has a bad game, Ewo is certainly not a bad player, but they don't tend to put Ewo these days on the really hard carries. They tend to put him more on the Vipers, heroes that certainly can make use of that safe lane farm, but aren't necessarily like your late game juggernauts. No pun intended. So I expect Smash's hero to come out in sometime in the next 2 picks here, and I'm still holding out hope for that Brewmaster versus Magnus dream matchup.
Reserve time.
Well, you still got plenty of time here as we're going to get in third pick of NoT today. Looking over some of their previous matches, in the new rendition of NoT today, they have not won a single game against Navi US. They went 3-0 in the Bounty Hunter Americas, and then went 0-1 against Navi US most recently in Star Series.
Yeah, I cast those games in the Bounty Hunter America, and NoT today did very, very well to get them to the finals against Navi US, who was the returning king of the hill. But yeah, Navi US just felt like they had an answer for everything that NoT today was going to do. And again, it's kind of, it kind of goes back to the fact that they're NoT today is not a team that is necessarily looking to pull out wild cards in the drafting phase, and because they can be a little bit predictable with their drafts. Navi US have done a very good job of exploiting that. And the other thing with NoT today is they've tended to just, when they've gone outside of the box, it really has not worked for them in the drafting phase. Both, gosh, I just lost the name of the team that we cast in the last
series. It's because you're so freaking excited about Magnus for Navi US.
Okay, and so this gives me a chance to talk about Arise's Magnus. So in terms of Arise's Magnus, the spell that he uses better than anybody else in the game is Skewer. And if you remember back in the day when Magnus used to be huge, it was almost always the case that, especially early on, you would see Skewer used to set up reverse polarity. And Arise does this in exactly the opposite order. He uses RP to set up Skewer, and that's particularly important these days because of the damage nerf. On reverse polarity, you really need to use Skewer as a damage spell, not just as a relocate or as a reposition for yourself and your opponents. Uses the spell very, very good, very, very well early on, but watch for these mid-game team fight combos. He will routinely hit 2 and 3 men skewers, and it's really, really fun to watch. The Chen pick, very interesting to me here. How do you feel about this? Because I'm not necessarily seeing how it fits.
Me neither. I mean, makes the Viper tankier, which is always nice. I guess looking at the side of Navi US, they have a lineup that reaches a certain amount of burst and then doesn't really do much else from there. Like, I think Magnus is a pretty good example of that, where he jumps in, he has a Skewer and Shockwave, and he does this RP, but after that, Magnus doesn't really contribute too much else. After that, there's at least 5 seconds where he can't throw out another Shockwave, and that's still kind of not the really big heavy hitting. So a lot of this damage is going to come in to a certain point where if the Chen is able to put these heroes just above the line of them being popped, and they can return fire. The Viper especially, I mean, he's already going to be so tanky versus all of this magic damage. Being able to increase his health, like just the extra heal, which is what, 200 heal at level 1, is more like an extra 250 to 300 health due to all of this coming from mainly magical damage. So the Viper is going to be made much more tankier. Centaur as well is obviously decently naturally tanky hero, is going to be helped out by that one. The early push, if they can get some quick towers here, Navi US do take some time to come online, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
You want the Blink Dagger for the Magnus. You want the Blink Dagger for the Sand King. Furion, while he is a more aggressive hero than he has been in the past, he still needs some time. He's not the greatest contributor to early team fights compared to many other offlaners. So I would say try and abuse that, plus making other heroes tankier. It's not really what I had in mind, but it does have some. I do kind of understand the pickup here. Navi US, though, are going to go for a Gyrocopter, which works really well with the Magnus, and now they just have a lot of AoE team fight.
Yeah, and Gyro's a hero that you've seen really make a comeback lately. And there we go. The dream is real. We've got a Smash Brew against an Arise Magnus in the middle. This is what I wanted to see. Gyrocopter has made a nice comeback recently. Empire's Silent, in particular, has just been ridiculous on this hero. I mean, he's just been absolutely wrecking people, both in terms of farming and in terms of KDA. But yeah, I'm just going to take a moment and just be a fanboy here, because this to me, Smash has always been a very, very good brewmaster. A lot of people, our fans, will hopefully have seen the show that he put on against EG a couple of weeks ago on this hero. It was ultimately a loss, but he just made some plays that I've never seen before. He had one sequence where he had a refresher, and I think he got off like 3 claps in the span of like a couple of seconds, casual 1K AoE damage. But yeah, this to me is two very, very talented players on their best and most explosive heroes. This is gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty interesting. I feel like I need to point this out again. We do have 2 stand-ins on the side of Navi US. Pink Panda is way too sexy, for those of you guys who haven't heard, and then Arise is a really, really good European player who does not currently have a team, and is and the reasoning for that is a bit of a mystery.
He's like everybody's stand-in right now. I mean,
he really is.
I have seen him play for like 3 or 4 different teams in the past couple of weeks, and I don't know that I've seen him have a bad game. I mean, he doesn't always win, obviously, but very, very consistent player as well.
Yeah, I think I had a day where I went from casting I don't know if it was D2CL or ESL, but I went from European to American games, and Arise was a stand-in for the European team, and then he, I think it was MYM, and then he went in as a stand-in for Navi US in the next series, and I was like, oh, hey, Arise, he's everywhere, man. He is everywhere. If you need a stand-in, you just shine that Magnus Horns Batman symbol, Batman S symbol in the air, and Arise will come calling. But yeah,
what is that? What is up with that spear? Whoa, that's crazy.
Which one? Oh, his.
Yeah, that's well, it's obvious. Now, I actually really like this. I don't know that I've seen Snay down here on the offlane Nature's Prophet before, but I really like this. Korok is an excellent gyrocopter. They've been moving Korok around role-wise. He's been playing some support lately. He's actually played an excellent Earthshaker, nearly as good as Hani's in the last month or so. But they are going to have snaking down here on this Nature's Prophet, and more and more I like this. I like traditional carry players on the NP these days.
Do you feel they just perform better on the Nature's Prophet than they would on many other offlanes? Hold on. Mihawk in some trouble with a concussive shot. Korok's going to come in with the Rocket Barrage, and Hoof Stomp will not put a stop to that damage. First blood picked up by Korok.
Okay, and they are going to get the retaliation kill down bottom onto Snaking's Nature's Prophet, but again, I think Gyrocopter getting the first blood is kind of the nightmare scenario in the early game there. Arise already off to a 5-0 start on the mid over Smash's Brew.
Did he go for the level 1 Empower? No, he's maxing out the nukes. Sometimes I like to see the level 1 Empower when you're going up against other melees, because I think it's a bit more efficient use of your mana, but when you go for a bottle first build, it makes sense to go for Shockwave.
Yeah. No, I mean, he rushed the bottle, and Arise is just so good at getting heroes out of position early on with the skewer, and it's something that I think, all pro players should know how to look for it and should be expecting it, but you just don't play against that many Magnuses in high-level matches these days. So I do feel like he's able to catch a few people off guard with that.
So we now have a push out here. It looks like the failure to get a pull from Mystico is going to result in this bottom lane pushing out quite heavily. And Snake King, well, he's actually going to blow a teleport here just to grab the Invis rune, which means he will actually miss out on this bottom lane push, which is pretty significant. Now, Mihawk takes a couple of bit of damage there, but yeah, going back to this bottom lane, it's a lot of experience that he's going to miss out on. That would have been pretty easy because Mystico failed the double pull.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, as you say, he's going to be sitting at level 2, and these couple of creep waves down here would have likely gotten him about halfway through level 3. So that's definitely a really big deal in the early game. Yeah, I think he might have been a little bit too quick to abandon that lane, and you're going to see a TP down here from Way2's Sand King, just so that somebody on their team is getting at least some of this XP that we were talking about.
Yeah, and if anybody besides the offlaner needs the extra experience, it's going to be this 4-position Sand King, as the early boots do a lot of work for him, but he still needs those higher levels of Burrow Strike as well as Sandstorm to also farm up the jungle. Even though that is currently being taken by Snaking. So our top CS on the board so far is the Brewmaster from Smash. He is now out CSing Arise, and the Viper, who is 13-2. Not a big surprise, is Nether Toxin being making it so much easier to be able to last hit. Gyrocopter and Magnus are not that far behind, and you may see that be upset here pretty soon. The biggest thing about the CS right now is more the fact that Gyrocopter, you look at him, he's got 11 denies. So he may be 1 CS behind the Viper, but he's denied so many creeps here. And that's really going to be affecting our Sarntar Warrunner, who does not have any other options besides making this offlane work, which is something that Furion does have an advantage. If he feels like the offlane is not working for him, that he's going to feed away too much, he can just go in the jungle like Snaking's doing now.
Yeah, a little minor point here, similar to what we were seeing earlier out of J4. Way2 is holding on to that level 3 skill point, and he'll invest it in Burrow Strike if he feels like he's an opportunity for a rotation. Otherwise, you might see him get that into Sandstorm. Although, as you said earlier, the jungle is not being actively stacked. In fact, it's being actively farmed by Snaking's NP. But he's got to find a way to get himself back into that lane. The Nature's Prophet does.
Well, 1-1. Big old 300 gold lead right now for Not Today, 200 experience. So despite the first blood gold actually being picked up by the side of Navi US, they're actually still ahead in gold. Of course, the prioritization of the gold, the first blood gold going to the Gyrocopter, is one of the worst parts of it, but still. Surprising that they're actually not behind, and that's part of that is probably going to be because they do have a jungler, which
for sure.
Chen. Yeah.
For sure. And that's kind of, I was going to mention that during the draft, but when I got sidetracked by the aforementioned nerdgasm. But anyway, I was going to mention this is kind of the problem with Chen, right? That definitely when you talk about junglers, right, you do risk making your lanes weaker. But the benefit, of course, especially on the Radiant side, is you really boost your team's GPM by quite a lot, especially in the first 10, 12 minutes of the game. The problem with Chen, when you compare him to like an Enigma or even a Sand King, right? He doesn't necessarily make that transition to the late mid game and the late game like some of those other heroes do. So he's a hero that definitely does help your team's gold output early on, but there's really a limit to what he can do with that gold. And there's kind of a much tighter window for him than there is a lot of the other heroes that might be junglers, particularly in Enigma. So we're gonna have to see whether or not Today can make something happen in this game in that window. Now, I will say they are all 5 of them on heroes that I've seen them play before, and that they are very, very good with. So, again, they're not necessarily the most creative as far as the draft goes, but they're all solid on these heroes.
Yum Pause comes out, and we are ready to go. So the two key things to watch right now is both the offlaners. Again, Mihawk, the Centaur, he has no boots, where the Gyrocopter has phase boots, and has that Rocker Barrage, which is going to be being maxed out. So it's a pretty dangerous lane for him to be in if he does get caught. We also have the Chen, who may be making a rotation here as soon as he finds his suitable creep for it, as he does have a smoke. And the mid could certainly use a gank, though it's a tough kind of gank to get, as the Magnus always has the skewer as an escape mechanism.
Yeah, Smash really doing well here mid to dodge the nukes from Arise. He's really getting the better of this mid lane. And nice move by Way2 here, moving into the Radiant jungle, taking advantage of some of the stacking by the supports.
And Mystico's going to steal the neutral last hits there with the Fate Bolt, and he's going to be getting low here, Way2. not really having the movement speed advantage to be able to right-click him down. And Smash chooses the wrong rune to go to. Way2 is going to pick up a haste rune, or at least protect a haste rune for a Rise as his bottle comes back in. He'll pick that one up and refill his bottle again. So very good protection here by Way2, and picking up level 4 is pretty big as well. And it looks like they're going to go hunting.
Get a couple of kills off this.
Yeah.
I mean, most of our viewers will probably know this, but do keep in mind, right, regardless of who gets those last hits on the jungle creeps, that the XP is split. So you see Sand King halfway through his level 4.
Yep, that's pretty damn big, especially if he can maybe get this stack. Maybe Furion could stack it up for him.
He's going to be going down here, though, to the smoke gank. You mentioned that earlier from the Chen. This is what he needs to do.
Oof, yeah, look at that. They even had both a smoke, a dust, and good coordination between the two supports. The telekinesis back into the Hellbear Smasher. Beautiful little gank that results in a kill. Bottom lane, though, we have the magic missile that's going to be coming in, and that's not even necessary. Homing missile, rather. As Gyrocopter picks up that kill, and now the Furion makes that rotation to take down the tier 1.
Interesting to me that Korok even picked up this skill. I mean, I see a lot of Gyrocopters at this level skip homing missile entirely. I'm curious whether or not that game by Fada yesterday has had any influence on this. That was the first game I'd seen in a long, long time where a pro Gyrocopter both maxed out homing missile and went for an early mech, and it worked out pretty well for them.
Of course, Fada would be.
Oh yeah, Fada mech on every hero, right? I mean,
mech.
Yeah, mech troll warlord, mech invoker, mech dragon knight.
Yeah,
why not?
I think Fada is like 100% mech rate. It's ridiculous. I really thought Cloud9 were going to change that about him, but apparently not.
Oh no way, no, that's what they needed. I mean, that they really desperately needed that stability, because that was, to me anyway, that was where they were really having some trouble. They were giving a little bit too much away in some of those early engagements.
Right-clicking down the tower. Smash, though, is going to try and use that opportunity. Nice little sprout, but Smash is still able to work his way around it. Silence, not quite lasting enough. Korok is going to be running down the side lane, though, with those Fade Boots advantage. Smash is not going to find his opening that he needs to be able to get the clap, and will be forced to go back into the middle lane, where Masoko is currently pushing it out. He does have level 5, and that means double creeps, and he has the Skeleton Warriors as well as the Wild Wing Ripper out, ready to go. But Snake King already here in response to defend this tower.
Yeah, and you can see that Masoka's Chen is really doing very nicely this game. Almost a full level ahead of the Nature's Prophet. He's holding on to about 1150 gold, so he's going to have his mech very early on if he wants it here. This Chen pick so far working out, but again, really not today, I think, is of the two teams definitely under the more pressure to create and do well in these engagements here coming up in the mid game.
Yep, I completely agree with you. They're gonna observer wards being picked up by Sand King. Probably could use a nice little mid ward. Both of the mids are currently trying to work towards their Blink Dagger. Smash is going to go straight for it here, while Rise is delaying his with an early Arcane Boots pickup, which benefits his team quite well. RP going to go down. Smash is going to be comboed up here with the Burrow Strike over the top. The heal, he goes out from the Chen, and now Smash's turn to make a response here. Rise pops his regen, gets a little bit extra health off of that one. They throw the Sand King up in the Tornado. It looks like Rise is too far away. They throw way too sexy up in the air with the telekinesis. They're going to try and right-click him down. They will be able to get him, and Mystico will still be caught as the Furion comes in, gets a return kill. Smash actually gets a kill onto Fogged as the Rise is still thrown up in the air. He does land that last little bit of a shockwave, but still, not today, actually coming away from that team fight much better for it, as the Snake King rotation doesn't even make a difference. In the meantime, while they did rotate more heroes and didn't actually get a better team fight, we have NoT today using those extra heroes that were not in the middle lane to push down the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, very nice play coming out from NoT today, and it's exactly as you said. I mean, I am not sure without the hand of God in that engagement that Smash's Brewmaster lives to get his split off. And we are going to have a kill up top going on to Mihawk Centaur.
Yeah, this poor guy is just not going to get his Blink Dagger anytime soon, and they'll give the kill to Korok, who already had his Hand of Midas and is going to be getting even more boosted in gold and experience off of these kills. And another Hand of Midas this time for the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and I think that makes some sense in this situation. I mean, Not Today are so heavily invested into the mid game, and I do feel like between Reverse Polarity, Epicenter, going on to Fog here in the mid lane, I think he should be away from Smash's Brew.
Yeah, has enough distance there. Will be able to get themselves out. They may try and push this lane. We do have some stacks, by the way. Gyrocopter's going to be farming that one up. I would love to see them save the other stack for the Sand King, but we'll see if that actually happens. As more than likely, Korok will farm it up.
Yeah, holla, man. Now Korok is going to farm pretty hard on this Gyrocopter, and that's part of why I like the Midas from him here. Is I feel like he's going to his pace of farm. They've done well enough controlling the map that he's going to get his items up maybe only 2 minutes or so behind where he would have without the Midas.
Right.
No, I agree with you, though. I actually think that in terms of where they are in the game and in terms of Not Today's timing window, I actually think it would have made a lot of sense for them to give way to a little extra farm toward his Blink Dagger. That said, he is doing fine on this bottom lane, being relatively unmolested.
Yeah, if he's able to farm up the bottom lane, then give it to Arise instead and get a Blink Dagger on him. He was actually trying to farm it up earlier, just threw down a Shockwave. Obviously, him trying to do it is much slower. Mystico has actually picked up his level 6, so Rubik now has an additional nuke to add into the field. Went ahead and stole that Shockwave.
Yeah, level 4 Shockwave on Rubik at this point. That's no joke.
Yeah. Especially with no animation and the Furion Treant still trying to get in the way of their push, but with the mech going out now from the Viper. Early mech picked up by him after the Hand of Midas. I was surprised to see it picked up so early by him. But as you said, Evo is an excellent farmer, and he's keeping in pace with the Gyrocopter despite the fact he does have that extra bit of stack he was farming up. Fog's going to be caught out by the jump-in clap, and Smash is now on a killing spree and looking for more, at least to be able to toss up Rise in the air. Rise trying to juke it around a little bit. Does get revealed and will be thrown up in the air. The rest of the team is not here to benefit from that one. And he's still going to go for the stun, but Smash has got to blink himself away, as that was really aggressive from him. Korok won't be able to stop Smash, and Smash will just teleport back home anyway, and maybe pick up some upgraded boots or not.
Yeah, I'm a little bit back and forth. Misoku could have afforded that mech as well, letting Viper either go drums or rush into that.
Oh, sneaking. Running into the wrong place, wrong time. Better control the creeps would ensure the kill on Snaking. Looks like they'll get it anyway. The Chen creeps need to be able to protect them, though. This 2 support's going to be locked inside with Korok, and that ultimate just rips them apart.
Yeah, not worth it at all. I mean, ordinarily, a 2 support for a core kill is not the worst thing in the world, but you got to pay attention to who you're giving the kills to. Yep. You're feeding the Midas Gyrocopter, and this is a game where Korok could very, very easily get out of control here. He's already the highest level in the game. He's notching those kills despite going the early Midas. He's going to have his BKB maybe by about the 15-minute mark, and that gets pretty scary.
Gyrocopter with levels, this amount of farm, it takes over games, especially when you have a good setup hero like a Magnus, who is not only going to set up
right on time. Yeah, that's especially with the arcanes first, and the fact that he didn't have the easiest time in lane. Smash is an excellent laner on this Brewmaster. He might make something happen here with the Invis. This would be a huge kill on Korok if he gets it. But that's the nighttime.
If he finds him here, Korok is such a good pickoff. If he can get this clap, it's going to be a little close, though, I think. And phase boots away. Smash doesn't actually commit to using the clap there. He had a Blink Dagger. I really think he could have landed the clap there and gotten a right click. And if Gyrocopter keeps running, then you can actually blink ahead of him, getting even a couple more right clicks in. And if he doesn't, he turns to just Rocket Barrage, I'm pretty sure you can still kill him quite easily. Ewo is going to be caught here in the river. We have so many ultimates being dropped. Skewer doesn't quite hit, and the RP is actually going to be stopped there. As Ewo gets outside of range, they do catch out the Furion, who teleported into the river to try and put a stop to any retreat from the Viper. But it actually turns out to be rather favorable here for the side of Not Today.
Yeah, I mean, Snaking, despite I do, as I mentioned in the early game, I like some of these traditional one-position players on the Nature's Prophet. Interestingly enough, just what I've seen, they end up being very, very aggressive. I mean, Siler and Pycat have just played wonderfully on this hero, but Snaking doesn't have a whole lot of games on the Furion, and there's Smash again in the middle of it. Might get a kill on Korok here, and oh, this would be huge for them.
Yep, he's going to throw out the ultimate, gets tossed up in the tornado. Ready to throw him back down to the earth. The secondary stun comes in. Korok should be wiped out on the right side. They've already taken the Furion. Arise. I'm not sure about this ultimate. He hits the skewer, but immediately interrupted by the tornado. And Fog is going to be caught out in the backside, taken down by the 2 melee heroes. And now Arise is going to be surrounded on all sides by 5 heroes of Not Today. That was a beautiful little tornado that interrupted the skewer. That was great. At the same time, though, I felt like that RP wasn't going to result in anything because the only hero they had to combo with was the Skywrath Mage. And, of course, that ultimate doesn't really look that strong when you had 2 or 3 heroes inside of it.
No, and really the supports of Not Today just being in a perfect position, rotating around the back of that fight, really neutralizing what Magnus was able to do. It was just a beautiful cyclone to nullify the skewer, but you're right, I don't know that it necessarily had that big an impact on the team fight. I think they were going to win it heavily anyway.
Yeah. And so Na'Vi US really just got to focus on farming at this point in time because they're losing a lot of ground very rapidly. They need that BKB on Korok super badly as he is losing out on a lot of magic nukes coming out his way.
Yeah, they've given up about a 5k gold differential just in the last 3 minutes of this match, and Snaking needs to be awfully careful here. They guessed wrong. Oh, goodness.
I'm not sure what that... Not sure why Mihawk thought that somehow the Furion went down this way.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. You'd probably guess up in that situation, but you know that's okay. It's not the biggest.
My question is, how does Furion get past your creep wave without you seeing him?
Fair enough.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, what? There's a creep wave there. I was thinking sneak his way past the creep wave. Yeah, doesn't have a Shadow Blade. Tier 1 tower going to be taken, though, by Not Today.
You do have to wonder, right? I mean, they have these double minuses, and we've talked about Korok's scary pace of farm here, but you got to wonder, is it going to be, have they given away too much, right? Na'Vi US has given away a lot in these fights. They're going to, 2 tier 1 towers are going to go a long way, but as good teams do, I think Not Today should transition right into the tier 2 push up here.
Yep, I agree. I think that Gyrocopter's died too much. I mean, they've invested so much farm in him, and it's not just the minus, right? Yep. They both have minuses, the Viper as well as the Gyrocopter, and they're neck and neck when it comes to farm. But it's the fact that a Viper wasn't given stacks to farm up.
Right.
So the fact that Ewo is in pace with his Gyrocopter is a really troubling sign to me, and they have to finish up the BKB, which they do get. I'm still not quite sure that's going to be enough because we're now getting into this situation where Korok's damage is good, but it's not necessarily from the rocket barrage, or not necessarily from the flat cannon, but more the rocket barrage. The flat cannon still will be nice, of course, but you've got a lot of very tanky heroes on the side of Not Today.
And this is a little troubling. Rubik is going to be able to stop this, all but stop the tier 2 push by himself here, while the other 4 heroes of Not Today are going to be able to do. All right, I like this rotation, though, by Na'Vi US. I really do.
Yeah, trying to go tier 2 for a tier 2, or at least force some rotations. Brewmaster?
Or at least even better, try and force a fight where Not Today is out of position.
Yeah, this is, tier 2 is low. But we have a Brewmaster with Agonies. And the Centaur is already going to throw out the Stampede, the stun on the Mystico, but all he wants is the fight. He wants his team to actually be here. And they've caught Korok, Mihawk, not going to be there in time to stop the hoofs, this teleport away with the hoof stomp. And the rest of the enemy team will manage to get themselves out. And they also will catch out the Chen and all of his various creeps here in the top lane.
Now, I mean, this is a script I've seen before in some of these Na'Vi versus Not Today matchups. That Not Today is not always the best team in terms of rotating around the map as a team. They'll tend to give up pickoffs in disengagements. They'll tend to be just a little bit slow in responding, like Smash's Brewmaster TP'd all the way. Little things like Smash's Brewmaster TPing all the way back to Fountain instead of directly out to the tower. And I feel like Na'Vi US will take advantage of those very, very small positioning mistakes. Now that said, they're down in this game. They've leveled the gold graph off in the last couple of minutes here, but they need to make some progress because they still are at the point where those double minuses are coming into play. Their heroes do not have the items that they would have had otherwise.
Yeah, it's going to take a rise, I think, is
Yeah,
the biggest
I
playmaker.
agree.
If he manages to get an RP into the epicenter follow-up, they can easily win a fight, and it'll be good. But you can see NoT today are very spread out right now. They're just letting Ewo be the front line. Now the Brewmaster goes in, actually gets off the ultimate, and is going to chase down some of these heroes while the rest of his team takes that tier 2. Continues to chase, will find Fogged here on the side, is going to go for snaking, and that's a more important kill, I would feel. So they get that one. They get the core player. That is good. We have Navi US who may still try and force a fight here. Here comes Arise with the Haste Rune. Immediate telekinesis there from Mystico. The RP is going to be able to land on 2. But if they only lose 2, that's not so bad. I mean, that was an RP, epicenter, everything there. They got the core Viper, which is obviously the really big kill. But it also cost them a buyback on Furion. Looks like, though, they will be able to get the Roshan kill. So
yeah, but that's the thing. That's worth it. They've all but sacked snaking in this game anyway. I mean, he's really far behind, but he's a Furion, right? I mean, he's gonna at least get to a respectable level of farm if the game lasts long enough. And this is where the dire advantage really kicks in. I don't know that NoT today can do anything about this.
I don't think they can, man. So if Korok gets that next big damage dealing item, like he's already got the Demon Edge, if he can finish off the MKB, which is going to be his item build 100%, then even without the Brewmaster, you think about doing that. Yeah, exactly. Way 2 is needed to try and use a Burrow Strike there, but he held onto it for just a second, and Mihawk came in. They still got the Aegis up on Korok, and the nuke damage almost finishing off Korok, but they still need a little bit extra here. And that's where Smash is going to come in with the clap, a right click, and they take him down. There goes that Aegis, and if they get themselves out, pretty clean disengage. That's good enough.
I don't know that that was worth giving up Mihawk to pop the Aegis there, but I guess. I mean, it might be, just considering how key it is in the next couple of minutes that they shut down Korok, and that, I mean, basically means that Korok just can't just run into these team fights with abandon. But boy, oh boy, anytime you're on the clock, like NoT today are, I think you've just got to you got to hoard those kills. I mean, any mistake right now, it gets amplified that much more, even with a lead. I feel like any mistake you make, any kill that you feed away, gets amplified in terms of its importance. Yeah,
I would agree that I would say it'll be worth it for NoT today if they use the next 2 minutes to force like one game-ending or at least taking a tier 3 sort of fight.
Yeah.
And if they go, okay, now there's no double life on the Gyrocopter, let's force a fight here. And see if maybe they can get Way 2 Sexy in the middle lane, who has already used his Burrow Strike and will be going down. So they found a pickoff. Now if they can just 5-man in and take a tier 3, like there's no Aegis advantage, so there's nothing really to fear now as they're all getting back up. If they could do that, hey, it's worth it.
For sure. I mean, even if they just manage to get a kill on Korok, that's easily worth it. And Smash is making noise like he wants to at least think about it. But yeah, I don't think he can, especially not with Arise's Magnus in that area of the map. You know, Sneaking doing what Furions do, and he will get caught up here. He's almost got his Maelstrom completed. He'll have it when he TP's back to base. You know, that's kind of the risky run, picking on a Furion like that.
They at least get the deny. Mystico, as they follow the homing missile, they're like, oh, hey, there he is.
By the way.
Telekinesis is going to throw him back, but not in time, as he just needed space for his Blink Dagger, and unfortunately, he will be going down. So they need more. They need a better pickoff here. I feel like you're right. NoT today are very much on the clock right now, and the double Aghanims that they picked up like 4 minutes ago doesn't really seem to be doing so much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. If everything from their heroes to their item builds to the fact that you're up against a Gyro and a Furion with 2 Midases, I mean, you need to make something happen so desperately right now, and you know they've got the ability to do that, especially with the Haste Rune on Smash's Brewmaster. But they've got to get the rest of the team up into position up here.
Oh, bye Courier.
Oh, very nice.
And that is a really big Courier pickup. That was MKB as well as Snaking's Mithril Hammer.
Oh yeah, that cost MKB
that's his
and
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
So, yeah. Fight.
Now you
Fight
just
now.
Yeah, you'd be crazy not to just barrel down mid right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't fight within the next 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes rather, while there's 4,600 net worth, I mean, you look at the net worth board right now, it's dipping down a little bit. Well, it just spiked back up to 4,600 increased net worth for the next 2 minutes.
That's exactly the right way to think about it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Not today.
And with the pipe on the Centaur too. I mean, look, your advantage is never going to be bigger than.
Fogged, was it worth it, buddy? He may be going down here. He did get the Force Staff, thankfully, from Arise, but still going to be going down here, and they're going to try and use this Brewmaster ultimate to finish off the Tier 3. Fortunately, though, they do have a glyph. Sending back Arise, back down to Earth, not able to find that kill. They do get a stun that's going to be flown out, and they just go right back to beating down that Tier 3. Now, Na'Vi US are going to try and force this fight now that the Brewmaster ultimate is down, but it looks like Not Today will back themselves up, and will address the split pushing of bottom and top lane. If they can deal with that, but still go back to this mid lane in the next minute and a half,
Yeah.
it's going to be close with the primal split, but they will have like 15 seconds where they can try and force a fight with that ultimate down and get a Rax, or at least like win the fight enough that the courier coming back isn't that big of a deal.
And you can see Smash very, very aware of the situation here. He knows what Na'Vi US is going to try to do. Na'Vi US is going to try to make them move around the map as a team, and the Boots of Travel is designed to address that. I think that's a really good pickup in this situation.
Yeah, if he starts pushing out the bottom lane solo, Furion can't do anything to stop him, especially when you're lacking a Maelstrom. And then he can have the rest of his team push out the top lane real quickly and go 4-man down mid, and he'll still be there with them. But I feel like they're not doing it. They're stalling out. The courier's going to come back. There's going to be MKB. There's going to be Maelstrom for snaking, and the next fight is going to be so much tougher.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Arise not necessarily delivering on Magnus the way we might have hoped, but Smash is sure showing you why he was able to go. I think it was like 16-3 or something ridiculous against EG the other night against Brew, like on his Brew. Like that was one of the great injustices I've seen, that they weren't able to win that game, because it was just an amazing individual performance. Meanwhile, smoke rotation bottom here. This is pretty ballsy by Na'Vi US.
Yeah, they're going to try and blow up real quickly. Mihawk, who is defending himself with the pipe, but it's not going to be enough. Back up to the top lane where the Brewmaster blows his ultimate there, but he doesn't actually finish off Korok. He managed to teleport away. Yeah, he didn't even pop the BKB, it looks like, to teleport out,
which is courier back. Yikes.
Is huge.
So Na'Vi US now, the ones that have a short window here to put some pressure on the Not Today base, definitely shouldn't be game ending here by any means, but little mistakes like that, again, when you're on the clock, really add up. I'm not sure, though, that Smash is completely done up here. Okay, he is going to go back.
Yeah, he's going to have a level 3 ultimate, so at least we do get some sort of big increase in power for him, even if there is several big increases for Na'Vi US.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. From here on out, right? This is what I meant a couple of minutes ago, and I say that relatively speaking, you know, unless you win like a couple of ridiculous team fights, you're not going to be stronger relative to the other team than Not Today was a couple of minutes ago. From this point forward, pretty much every item that comes up is going to be more significant for Na'Vi US than it is for Not Today.
Right. That's why Not Today are currently looking for a Smoke Ink. Their Smoke didn't pop, and they're going to run into Snake King, who has his Blink Dagger on cooldown. That is pretty perfect. They also get Mystico to be able to steal the Nature's Call, which is going to be able to give them a lot more pushing power. So, in general, that was a great pick-off. But at the same time, Misoko is going to be hit by the Burrow Strike. The Rise does miss a Skewer, though, and that's going to result in Misoko managing to get out. He will lose all of his creeps, though.
Yeah, uncharacteristic from Arise. He just hasn't had the impact on this hero that I've seen in literally every other game I've seen him play. But you know what, that happens. We all have off games, and they're still in very good position.
Yeah, Mihawk pops the Stampede. They need some extra room. He needs to be able to Blink Dagger forward. Smash also not going to be able to find that opening. And it looks like Korok should be able to get himself away. Smash is kind of closing the distance, but I don't think they're going to be able to get it.
Yeah, it looked pretty funny there. Centaur literally charging right into the homing missile in the face. Like, he should totally take extra damage for that. It looked painful.
And Smash, what do you think he goes from here? Is it a BKB because we're dealing with the silence from the the Skywrath Mage, even though Fogged, really good Skywrath Mage player, hasn't actually made any of those plays yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm torn between that and a Shivas. I think Shivas is really good here just because of the physical damage is going to become more and more fun. Oh, look at this.
Mihawk completely screwed the pooch on that one. Hoof stomp away, and they won't get way too sexy. That should have been a pickoff. Meanwhile, farther up, Ewo is going to be hit by an RP. They will gladly take a free Viper kill. Even if it's at the cost of an RP, it's worth it for them.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But look at what Smash just bought from the Secret Chat.
Okay, refresher. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Snaking. He's fine. Teleports away.
I should mention Lincoln's is not entirely bad either, but refresher is my bet.
Yeah, I would have bet that too. Smash is going to be sent home. And not today. Struggling to find openings against Navi US.
It's getting too late, man. I mean, this is what we said at the very, very beginning about this Chen pickup, that I think Misoku's played very, very well in this match. I actually really like the Vlad's pickup as well.
Oh, wow. Mystico.
Is this getting too late? Oh, no.
Mystico has been pulling out some pretty good Rubik plays, but that one, he did get caught out here in the bottom lane. And you look at Korok now, and he was hitting for like 175 damage, I would say, like about 4 or 5 minutes ago. But now he's got this Alpha Wolf next to him. He's got the Empower on him, and he's got that MKB finished. So now he's hitting for over 300 damage a hit, almost 350.
Yeah, and boy, this window for NoT today just so rapidly closing. You've got to have something to go around this Smash Brewmaster, even if he does finish the refresher in the next couple of minutes, and he's still a ways away. I don't think they could. If he had a refresher orb right now on Smash, I'm not sure they could win a fight.
Scythe of Ice, another big-time luxury item. Snake King, who was shut down so much, he now has that item up.
Interesting. Okay, so I do like Mihawk Centaur is going to go for the Halberd here. And that, again, if he can complete that item, I mean, there is some progression left on the NoT Today side. They're certainly not out of this. It's just that, boy, they really need to get these items up in such a hurry and then just go.
Yeah, and if they're now going to be dealing with the Satanic on Korok.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, he's gotten out of control. Scythe onto Mystico, who's already been stunned up by Way Too Sexy, and our poor little Rubik, no matter how many big plays he can pull out, will not be able to survive through that one. Smash trying to catch up with Fog. He's going to be tanking that ultimate to the face. Another couple seconds of silence. No stun from Way Too. And now the RP.
Perfect. There it is.
And Arise will put a stop to that Brewmaster who's been terrorizing some of his supports, and they also get the gem in response.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing when we talk about these sequences of plays, that every little mistake like that just turns that clock forward a couple of minutes, and it is getting awfully close to striking midnight here. Cinderella is in a great deal of trouble. I mean, Ewo on his Viper. I mean, he's continued farming, done what he needed to do. Smash has played extraordinarily well on the Brewmaster, but it's just a function of the draft that they had, that this is not the position in this game that you want to be in.
Certainly not. 32 minutes in, 16-17. The kill score may look even, but the gold graph and experience graph certainly do not. And Navi US certainly have the better late game heroes right now. NoT Today needs something magical to happen here in the next few minutes as they go for defense of their base. Tier 3 have been taken down, and already Mystico has been dropped down well below half health just purely from that flat cannon damage. And they're going to lose their range racks as well. Brewmaster's finally coming back in. He's going to teleport in, try and look for that pickoff. Oh, wow. He popped his ultimate really early there. He didn't even blink ulti. He's going to go for Korok. Korok does still have a BKB.
Try this.
He has an Aegis. He has a Satanic. He basically has 3 lives, and they can't even get the first one here.
Boy, and Smash needs to get the hell out of there right now, because if he gives up a kill on himself right here, that's catastrophic. What are they doing?
Masoko almost getting caught here. Snaking, trying to get close enough. Does get in range of the Scythe of Ice. Force Staff trying to save him, and Arise will miss. Way Too not missing, though. Misoku's going to pop the Ghost Scepter, and they'll just run themselves away with the Stampede. But this is now Navi US in a good position to take down the melee racks.
Backdoor protection.
Yeah, as soon as the creeps go away. they'll be able to eat through it. There it goes. Melee Rax is now left exposed, and Not Today cannot force a fight while the Brewmaster ultimate is down. Navi US went from backing themselves off of just a range Rax to now going for a second set of Rax in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Smash, I have to, 30 more seconds. Boy, they should. Now they're going to lose a second set of racks, and I just don't see them coming back from this.
Me neither, man. Flank Cannon quickly wipes out the creep wave and also does a good amount of damage to some of the supports in the background. And Korok will finish off a second set of racks, and Not Today. If they don't call GG here in the next 30 seconds, I'll be very surprised. As they may try and go for one last team fight, but they have to win team fight after team fight after team fight in order to win this game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you see Smash still, they're probably thinking, okay, we're going to get that refresher orb up on Smash's brew and just kind of go YOLO it one more time. But boy, still a couple minutes for Roshan here, so he should be able to get that item done, hopefully, before Korok has yet another life, and Korok may get picked off here.
Smash is going to be targeted by the Scythe of Ice. At the same time, Korok's going to pop his BKB, defending himself. And Brewmaster now going to pop another ultimate where he may not be able to do anything about it. Korok says, go ahead and fight me. I've got a BKB, and I've got a lot of life thanks to that Satanic. And with the extra bit of lifesteal, Viper comes in. They actually got the Skywrath Mage in the mid lane farther up with Soku. Again, another misskewer, though it won't matter as the Shockwave finishes him off. Brewmaster's going to run out of his ultimate and instantly hit by the Rocket Barrage damage. Smash trying to get some distance, will blink his way out just before Snake King can get that right click. Stun also going to miss. And Mystico throws out a concussive shot and exchanges it for a stun. Snake King will push in the top lane now, as that is the last set of racks that needs to be killed. Refresher picked up by the Brewmaster, and he may have to use it right away here.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's not going to be a double ulti.
Throws down. I think he's trying to hold on to it, but they got to go for Korok here. There goes the Aegis, but Korok is fine with that. His Aegis was going to expire soon anyway. Arise, making sure that Korok does get out. And they're just waiting for Snake King to push in the top lane before they go. And he's really hoping to get off a double ulti for Smash, but I don't see how that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, oh no.
Burrow Strike for Burrow Strike, the send back, but the RP is going to be able to hit both those supports, and they'll both be taken out. Another RP, or attempt to skewer rather. Masoka is protected by the Ghost Scepter for the time being. And our Brewmaster now has to head up to the top lane where Snake King is currently pushing inside the Vice on him. Smash getting a bit low here. Mihawk as well getting low as he tries to throw out a hoof stomp, but the BKB golden shining ancient prophet is going to be fine. Now the RP lands on Smash. Can they finish him off before the ultimate goes off? He needs to use it soon. Doesn't even get that much. And GG. It's going to be the call from Not Today in this first game in the 2-game series up against Navi US.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that nicely played by both teams. I mean, I thought Not Today had a real chance in that match, but again, anytime you're on the clock as they were, you make a couple of seemingly minor at the time mistakes, and they just add up. I mean, you can see that the gold graph really did tell a story of how Navi US just kind of were able to level it off, and then it just had the feel of inevitability going through the rest of the game. And Korok finishes 10-1 with 725 GPM on that gyro. I really think that hero might just make a comeback into the meta here.
All right, guys. Well, that leads us to our last game of the night. Stick around. Game 2 of Not Today versus Navi US coming up in just a few minutes.